The United States surprise military operation in Venezuela last week continues to fuel reactions and varying responses around the world from America's allies to adversaries. We focus on the reactions and implications on the Korean Peninsula, and for this we have our correspondent Oh Seung with us in the studio. Welcome, Seung.
Great to be here.
So to dive right into it, so let's begin with North Korea, which reacted to the situation in Venezuela by criticizing the Trump administration. So what do you make of the response?
So, Sujin, if you look at the level of reaction that North Korea gave this time, it was actually quite restrained. The regime was quick to denounce the US's, quote, rogue and brutal nature and its violation of international laws. However, it did not elaborate on what had exactly occurred, merely calling it the Venezuelan situation without using terms like strikes or attack or even seizure. Also, it was not a comment by Kim Jong-un nor his outspoken sister Kim Yo-jong, nor was there a standalone foreign ministry statement. Instead, it came in the form of the foreign ministry spokesperson responding to a journalist question. One expert says there's a reason for this.
North Korea seems to have adjusted the level of its response to the U.S. As a regime fundamentally opposed to the U.S., it couldn't remain silent, but it doesn't have major interests like China in criticizing the U.S.
So how is the regime looking at Venezuela? Does this pose concerns for Kim Jong-un?
Well, of course, we can only speculate with limited information to what degree Kim personally might feel threatened. But we can assume that Pyongyang observes other authoritarian leaders, how they interact and bargain with the United States in particular, and of course their ultimate fate. In the past, Kim has reportedly noted the case of Libya, the brutal death of the African country's former dictator Muammar Gaddafi. Now, Gaddafi had given up his nuclear weapons program in response to Western demands and was later brought down and killed by a domestic uprising. This reportedly served as a cautionary tale and justification for the North Korean leader in his pursuit of nuclear weapons. So in the Venezuelan case, where America captured a sitting leader based on highly precise intelligence, this would certainly trigger caution over Kim Jong-un's security detail, possible leaks and exposure to US intel. Maduro's arrest could also change strategic calculations on re-engaging with the US. If you remember Maduro's interview 48 hours before his capture, he told a Spanish journalist that he and Trump had last spoken very respectfully in November. He also said he's willing to discuss oil trade and open up to the US for investment, actually floating the idea of an agreement to combat drug trafficking. Then, of course, he found himself captured and standing trial in Trump's home city. So for Kim Jong-un, this might cause him to think twice about his interactions and potential negotiations with Trump. This would likely embolden his resolve to hold on to his nuclear weapons as his ultimate security guarantee so that he will not end up like Maduro, not like Gaddafi.
North Korea believes it is different from Venezuela. Venezuela has no nuclear weapons and no ICBMs, so it cannot retaliate. However, North Korea believes it has a clear deterrent, and thus, the US would not dare touch North Korea. So there also seems to be a certain level of confidence, and that's why Kim is resuming his day-to-day activities. From his daily photos, his security protection doesn't seem to have increased just yet.
Then on New Year's Day, Kim Jong-un took Kim Ju-ae to Kumsusan Palace of the Sun and placed her in the exact central position where he himself should stand to pay respect to his father and grandfather.
This declares to his late grandfather Kim Il-sung and his father Kim Jong-il that his daughter will succeed him as the fourth leader of North Korea. It also symbolically signals this to the public. At the upcoming 9th Workers' Party Congress, there's quite a high chance that she will be given an official position corresponding to that of a successor.
So what else can we expect from the North Party Congress?
Well, we're expecting the North Korean regime to set out its external or foreign policy for the next 5 years at its highest decision-making body, the ruling Workers' Party's 9th Congress. There we can expect Kim as chairman to declare the continuation of his policy of simultaneously developing nuclear and conventional forces and justifying that by strongly criticizing South Korea and the United States. There we may hear Kim Jong-un cite America's intervention in Venezuela to justify the need to further strengthen his nuclear forces.
But is there still a chance of Kim and Trump meeting?
Of course, chances are very slim, but I wouldn't say it's impossible. With President Trump expected to visit China in April, eyes are on whether Chinese leader Xi Jinping might be inspired to play the role of mediator and perhaps invite Kim Jong-un along.
North Korea is currently building hospitals across different regions, but it lacks essential medical equipment to put inside those hospitals. If China were to support North Korea with such urgently needed supplies and invite Kim to Beijing, that could naturally create an opportunity for Trump and Kim to meet.
President Lee Jae-myung this week has also agreed on the need to revive dialogue with Pyongyang during his talks with Chinese leader Xi. And this really does overwhelmingly depend on how motivated Beijing is to promote better relations between Pyongyang and Washington, as well as between the two Koreas.
As ever, let's wait and see. Thank you for coming in today, Seung.
Thanks for having me.